Hi everyone, this is the next episode of the Active Changemakers project. I'm Emmeline, one of the members of the Access Sport National Youth Board, and today I'm joined with Emma. Emma, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. I'm Emma Colvard. I've worked with Access Sport over many years. Don't like thinking how many, but many years. Um, and I've run a learning disability basketball group in London since 2016, and been in contact with Access Sport since then. And they have been supporting us over the years to start up a new club, and also with advice and occasionally personnel support. So it's been a long and very fruitful relationship, I hope, on both sides.
Great. So, my first question, Emma, is how did you get involved in community sport?
Um, Got involved in community sport through starting a basketball club for my daughter, who is a passionate basketball player. And we moved back to London in 2016 from New York, where she'd had a wonderful experience joining a basketball club on the Upper West Side. And when I tried to find a basketball club in London that would be suitable for her, it turned out that there really wasn't one. So, so I thought it's probably something that I could manage, and so we started it.
And what has been your role in starting that club?
Well, sort of first of all, finding the venue, then finding somebody to coach, then finding people to come, then finding money to pay for the venue and the coach, then making sure that all the procedures, etc., and the policies and the DBSs and the whatnot involved in running things as a volunteer these days are all done. And then really trying to extend the network, get known by local authorities, get known by charities that work in that sector, give the young people who play for us opportunities to not just play, once a week in a session in Westminster, but to play in a wider environment. So sort of developed other sessions. So we started in Westminster, and then we expanded into Hackney, and then into Camden, and then into Southwark, um, in order to give our young people opportunities to meet young people from outside of their immediate borough, something which is not really focused on very much in learning disability provision. It's not, one of the things that comes top of the list. Most of it is managed sort of in-house in borough. So I wanted that to change a little bit. I wanted people to know people in other areas of London as well. And then from that, we got involved with a club up in Hertfordshire initially, and then one in Manchester, and we started playing with them as well. And then that led to us being involved in the Special Olympics. So it's just been a sort of an ambition to try to keep focusing on giving the young people who like playing basketball as many opportunities and as much opportunity to have a wide range of experience as possible.
That sounds amazing. Sounds like such great work. Um, and can you talk about how being involved with Safe Haven Basketball Club has impacted areas of your life?
Well, it's obviously made me quite busy. Um, I have made lots of friends through Safe Haven Basketball. The young people who play their families, the other people doing work in the same field. It's been wonderful for me. I mean, we hadn't lived in London for a long time. We'd been living in New York and before that outside of London in England. So I met a whole range of people I wouldn't have otherwise met. It's been unbelievably enriching for me. And also, being it's, I suppose, given me a sense of agency, that there are things that you can do. There are things that you can improve. You're not just a taker. You can also be somebody who contributes and gives, and that is unbelievably rewarding. Just not only for when you see what an impact it has on other people, but also for yourself. It's a very empowering thing.
Great to hear that you have that community now and that real sense of belonging that has come from this club. And as a parent, what impact have you seen with your daughter being it within the club?
Well, she's just thrived. First of all, as I say, we lived outside of London. She didn't really have a friendship group in London at all when we moved. So for her to have a group of young people who she meets up with twice a week and does something which she and they all really enjoy has given her really good friendship base and network that has really benefited her life. And then, sport is great. It makes you fit. It keeps you, keeps you going. So, she's benefited in all sorts of, ways physically, but also, she's had experiences that she couldn't have had in any other way. So she got picked to represent Great Britain in the Special Olympics in Berlin. So she spent 2 weeks with her team in an incredible sporting environment with countries, as I think people from about 100. I can't remember how many countries it was. It was almost all the countries in the world were represented. She played teams from Mongolia, Côte d'Ivoire, what were they? They Italians. I mean, it was a really life enhancing thing. Something which you'll never, get in any other way. And then she played. She got to go to 10 Downing Street afterwards to celebrate the achievement of all those athletes. She's just, as part of your campaign, she's just been up on the big screen in Leicester Square, going round. So first of all, I think you get Ronaldo, and then you get Leonardo DiCaprio, and then you get Grace. So, I mean, it has been truly life enhancing, and it has just shown where you can get to if you're passionate about doing something and if you commit to it. It's lovely.
You must be such a proud parent.
Yeah, I am. I'm super proud, and she's worked on the Access Youth Board, as you know, and that has given her a feeling of, having a voice, of being I don't know, in some way, part of the decisions that are made about what it is that she gets to do. And that's just, for anybody, that is an important part of their life. And that's been a great thing for her as well. So, it's been all round positive. There hasn't been a single thing that I can say or think of that has been anything other than positive about the whole experience.
And following on from that, for yourself, what has been your biggest moment or achievement working within the space that you're really proud of?
I think, well, certainly the thing that really gave me the most sleepless nights was when we first took a coach load of our athletes from London and their families up to Manchester for a weekend to compete in the Special Olympic Summer Games, because that was on me. I'd never done anything like that before. It was a big challenge organizationally, and it was a huge success in terms of the in just the positive experiences that everybody had on that weekend. And although I literally had no voice at the end of it, I felt that that was a sort of, for me, that was the biggest challenge, and I think also possibly just the feeling that that now that I've sort of I wanted Safe Haven Basketball to be a model that showed people in the basketball world in London that this is a fun thing, a good thing, an easy thing to do, not a difficult thing, not a sad, that it's positive, and that they can do it. And I'm really, really pleased that now it's Safe Haven Basketball has now been sort of taken into the basketball community and is now been incorporated into the work of the London Basketball Association. Because to me, that shows that we've kind of done proof of concept, and that it's not just going to be some slightly sort of batty mother who's got a daughter who wants to do this. It's actually going to be the basketball community, and therefore I hope it will be a consistent and ever expanding thing. The capacity of one person to run something when they know nothing about basketball, nothing about organising sport, is reasonably limited compared to the resources that there are within the wider basketball community. And I'm really, really happy to have seen that take place, and to be able, in a way, to step back and just enjoy being a parent again, knowing that this is all going to be continuing, far beyond me.
That's great. And what would you say, if any, challenges have come up? What would you say they have been in the last few years?
I think most of the challenges, I mean, to be honest, we have met many, many open doors. Whenever I've sort of explained what we do and why, people have been enormously supportive, and there has been, good funding opportunities provided by many of the wonderful funding bodies that there are out there in sport. We've had we've been very well supported, and we've had incredibly positive interactions. I think probably the most difficult thing when you're a little charity or a little organization is dealing with the sort of administrative burdens that are placed on you, which in many ways are exactly the same administrative burdens as you'd have if you were a large organization. You've got to follow certain processes, you've got to do all of that. It's just, sometimes it feels like there's a bit of a sledgehammer to crack a nut approach to all of that. And I think sometimes you have to be a little bit, you have to just take some decisions about what you need to focus on. And it's not always doing the paperwork on time. Sometimes you slightly have to, I think, it's capacity. Will you allow yourself to be prevented from doing something because, I don't know, you haven't been able to visit the venue that you're planning on going to in person and fill out a full, risk assessment because you simply haven't got the capacity as an organisation to do that? Or are you going to trust the people you're working with, trust the I don't know whether it's trusting to luck, but there is an element of that is that takes, I don't know, judgment, and you know that the judgment is going to come back on you, and I think that's one of the challenges, is to try to make the right judgments and not to be too constrained by some of the responsibility, but to take the responsibility, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So what advice would you give a parent who has a child who wants to work within the community sport space?
Oh, go for it. I mean, absolutely go for it. It's really beneficial in so many ways to be involved in community sport. In terms of, as I've said already, friendship, in terms of fitness, in terms of the opportunity for positive experiences. It's, it has its challenges, but what doesn't, you know? And in terms of taking steps which can lead somewhere, give you a feeling of some control, of some power, of some something that you can do that is positive, not just for yourself but for others. All of that is only positive. And so it's, yeah, do it, go for it.
And my final question is, what changes would you like to see within community sport?
More. More. I would like to, I suppose. No, I have nothing about. I don't think there's very much about community sport that I don't like. So, what changes would I like to see? I suppose I would like to see a continued, and I think it is changing. I think the climate is very positive in terms of inclusivity nowadays. Mm-hmm. And I just would love to see that expand to cover all areas. And I would like it not to be still to be a slight sort of piecemeal approach. I would like it to just be embedded into the core of all community sport, that they are fully inclusive, that they encourage people from all backgrounds with all sorts of disabilities to get engaged and involved in what is a life enhancing thing. Why not?
Great. Honestly, Emma, it's been so lovely chatting to you and hearing all of the work that you've done, and everything that you've done in the space has been so positive listening to you. Is there anything you want to leave this interview with for anyone listening?
No, I think I've pretty much said it in the last answer I gave, which is just get out there and do it, and find out what's going on, be curious, be constructive, be collaborative. I think that's one other thing. Be collaborative. Don't keep your little bit to yourself. I think you get so much more from collaborating and cooperating. Explore what's possible, and yeah. But no, I think that that I pretty much said it all, and I'm very grateful that you've picked me to talk to, and I hope it goes really well, your project.
No, honestly, you've been fantastic to interview. Thank you so much.
Okay, pleasure.